Hey, it's Dr. Kieran. Happy Saturday. I'm going early live a little bit early. We're talking about your Q number 10 about testosterone. Why do I need this? I'm a woman. Is it going to make me grow a mustache? These are great questions. Do I really need it? And am I going to have side effects from it? So that's what we're going to dive into today. Going a little early on my live because I have an appointment to get my hair done. Got to make that. So thank you so much for submitting these amazing questions that you submitted on the One Thing Hormone Survey. If you haven't submitted your question, it's not too late. You can still do it. Just find the link on the page where you are and go submit your question. And we did decide to go ahead and offer the Hormone Balance Mastermind again this summer. So if you're like, yes, Dr. Kieran, I want to get my hormones balanced this summer, definitely submit your application. You can go to midlifemetabolisminstitute.com and find out more about the program and submit your application. I would love to have you and just look forward to seeing how your life will unfold for you once your hormones are balanced. So, hey, I see someone's here. Shoot for Wellness. Welcome. So, testosterone. I wanted to talk about that because Kenya, girl, how are you? Good to see you. See a bunch of you. Thank you for joining me. Let me get my comments here on my Facebook piece too. Okay, so let's talk about testosterone. So a lot of women are confused because they think, well, this is a guy's hormone. I don't really need it. It's not that important to me. That is so wrong. So I was digging through a bunch of boxes last night because I'm getting ready to prepare a new training for this summer to offer to women, helping them understand why hormones are so important to their health and why they just will feel terrible if they never get their hormones right. So I was digging through my old lab records from when I first started this journey, and I realized I got some of the dates wrong. Like I thought I had my first real labs to look at the root causes from 2008, but I found 2009 and 10 is when I have it. So it wasn't even as early as I thought. Anyway, I came across my testosterone. And back then I was just a regular OBGYN practicing regular OBGYN medicine, right? Doing pap smears and hysterectomies and delivering babies. And I didn't really think testosterone was that important for women because that's what we're taught in our training. Sure, we have it, but it's really not that important. There's all this fuss about estrogen and progesterone, but really nothing about testosterone. So I didn't think it was a thing. And then I discovered this root cause resolution back when I was obese and tired and had fibromyalgia, anxiety, depression, hair loss, no sex drive. Like I was a mess. And I found my labs last night and my testosterone was terrible. But I got the labs, right? So I kept saying something's wrong. Something's wrong with me because clearly you could look at me and see I looked 20 years older than I was and I felt 20 years older and I had all these medical problems. And I would draw blood work and it would come back normal. And I thought that meant that I was fine. And this might have happened to you. And we talked a lot about this in the past few days about the difference between normal and optimal. So my mainstream medical training told me if the lab reference range, if you're in there, you are normal. There's nothing wrong with you. So I found my testosterone and it was in the normal reference range. But it wasn't until I found someone who could actually help me do the right blood test and do the right saliva test. So I did salivary testosterone and read them for optimal values that I actually was diagnosed as low. And so last night when I was looking at my labs, I found that original blood work that I had been doing saying something's got to be wrong. And it was right there in that reference range, but totally too low for optimal. Hence why I felt terrible. One of the reasons. I had lots of issues. So that's really how I started to learn. I was like, well, what's the big deal? Well, then when I finally did get my hormones balanced, which included not my thyroid, my insulin, my cortisol, my estrogen, progesterone. But it wasn't until I got the testosterone dialed into that optimal position. Like on the Dutch test, we get these little dials that tell us where our hormone levels are, and you want them right there at 12 noon. You get a little like a speedometer. You want it right at 12 noon. It wasn't until I got it dialed right there to 12 noon that I was like, oh, now I know what I've been missing. And someone had commented on one of the Q&As we had last week. She said something about I had to fight with my doctor to get estrogen and progesterone. She had had a hysterectomy, so her doctor didn't want to give her progesterone, which is a whole other thing, which you need it. And she said, but do I need testosterone? So she's one of many people who asked this question. And I say, girl, you need to fight for your testosterone because it is the thing that puts the lights on. So let me say this, estrogen and progesterone are important. Like in your living room, you need a couch, you need a few chairs, maybe a rug and some lamps, right? You need those things. If you don't have them, your house is not going to be comfortable. But do you need those beautiful throw pillows that, they have at TJ Maxx, and maybe the fancier rug and maybe some really nice drapes, all the things that make it feel like home, where you come in and you just feel calm and you can take a exhale. You know what I'm talking about? Who feels that way about their living room? Tell me. So, hey, I see you guys. It's so good to see you. So, you don't need all the fluff. You got to have something to sit on. That's basically all you need in your living room. Testosterone is the fluff, the thing that makes you love your living room when you sit in it and you just don't even want to leave. You feel so good. Not as like, hi, good to see you. So it's the thing that turns the lights on. So maybe you have one lamp in your living room if you've got estrogen and progesterone, but testosterone is like that recessed lighting that gives that nice glow that makes everyone's skin look so beautiful. You know what I'm talking about? It's the extra lighting. It's like my little, I have these little lights that just add a little something. You know what I'm talking about? That's testosterone. And it wasn't until I got mine dialed in, and it took a while to get it exactly right, for a lot of reasons. But when I got it dialed in, I was like, ooh, this is what good testosterone. So let's talk about why it's important. So, women have it. It's just that men have 10 times as much as we do, but we have it too, and we need it. So why do we need it? What does it do for us? Well, everybody knows it's about sex drive. Yeah, that's part of it. But our bones need it to be thick and healthy. So if you are losing bone mass and you have osteopenia or osteoporosis, which is really at epidemic levels in postmenopausal women, then your testosterone deficiency is part of the problem. And testosterone, getting your levels right, can help to solidify your bones and make them strong. It's also about your muscle mass. So one of the main reasons we start gaining weight at the age of 30, ladies, is because our muscle mass, if we're not doing anything to maintain or improve it, starts shrinking. And testosterone is one of the main stimulators of our muscle mass. So let me know who here has been losing muscle mass, or if you're concerned about your muscle mass, or if you've noticed that your clothes are hanging off of you, and even though your weight might be pretty stable, if your clothes aren't fitting the same, you don't have the same curves. What that often is a sign of is that you are losing muscle mass. And one of the main reasons women lose muscle mass is they don't have enough testosterone. So testosterone deficiency can happen in menopause, but it can happen back in your 20s or 30s. And one of the main causes is birth control pills. And so birth control pills can actually lower your testosterone. So you've got a low testosterone. If you've been on the pills 10, 20 years, your bones haven't been getting that stimulation. And then, you might start to lose bone mass, which, just as an aside, if you haven't had a bone density, definitely get one. Definitely by the time you're 50. But if you have risk factors, get it sooner. If you're petite, Caucasian, if you don't get enough calcium intake, if you don't have regular physical exercise, then you should get it sooner. But our muscle mass, so that's one of the main reasons why we gain weight. And I primarily work with women at midlife who have weight problems and energy problems, among other things. So one of the main things we need to look at with that is testosterone, because if your muscle mass isn't as healthy as it could be, then you're going to gain weight. Why? Because your muscles determine your metabolic rate, the rate at which you burn calories just sitting there looking beautiful. So if you don't have enough muscle mass, when you're sitting there looking beautiful, you're burning this many calories when you could be burning this many calories, right? Who wants to burn this many calories when they're sitting there doing nothing? Let me know. Give me a shout out. Give me a heart. Give me a like. Let me know, right? I want to burn calories when I'm just like, right? Doing nothing. So in muscle mass. Now, it is so important for your mood. So what do we love about men? So many things, right? Their musculature, that's why they have that very developed musculature, because that definition, because they've got all that testosterone. It's why they can lose weight more quickly than we can, because they've got all that testosterone and all that muscle mass. So their resting metabolic rate is, for the most part, much higher than ours. But we need a lower resting metabolic rate and more body fat, because that's what's necessary to have periods and make babies. So it's kind of like a genetic programming. If we got the XX chromosome, we're going to have more body fat and less testosterone. What else do we love about men? Let me know what you guys, Kenya says testosterone's the light of my life, right? That song, you light up my life. Testosterone lights up your life. So true. So what else do we love about men? We love their drive, right? We love their assertiveness and their drive and their get up and go, and also their even moods. Don't you love that about men? How they're just kind of like the same all the time, where we women are like, one day we're like, next day we're like, next day we're like, oh, I'm so scared. We just have, our moods are all over. Well, part of that is the cycling, okay, with the estrogen and progesterone. But part of it is that we have lower testosterone, and testosterone stimulates your dopamine neurotransmitter, which is your drive neurotransmitter, your get up and go, your initiative neurotransmitter. So if you're a woman at midlife and you're like, yeah, I just don't even care. I thought I wanted to write a book, but I just don't even want to do it. You might have a testosterone problem. If you're just kind of like, yeah, I'd like to, but you just can't get yourself together about stuff, testosterone is the problem. So really check that out. So it's about moods. It's about, I made some notes. Let me just see if I'm missing anything here. So this is something interesting I want to talk about. Hair thinning. There's so much worry. So I'm going to shift into, well, what happens when I replace my testosterone? So women are worried about losing their hair. There are some things you can do to prevent that. So you don't have to lose your hair, and it depends on the level of an enzyme, 5-alpha reductase, in your body. So on the Dutch test that we do in the mastermind, everybody gets to know their 5-alpha reductase level. So you know if you're at that increased risk for male pattern hair growth or loss, and then you could do something about it. But hair thinning is actually a sign of testosterone deficiency also. Now, some people say, well, what do I do about it? Okay, so first you've got to get your levels checked. You can't just go to the store and buy testosterone. It's a controlled substance. A physician has to prescribe it. You got to know what your levels are. Now, what is the problem? Mainstream medicine has the only commercially available testosterone replacement they have available for women comes combined with horse estrogen in a pill. It's called Estratest. So it's horse estrogen and testosterone. You take it orally. So the first problem is, we talked in the past few days, you do not want horse estrogen. We're not horses. We don't have horse estrogen receptors. And horse estrogen was one of the hormones looked at in the Women's Health Initiative study, where they stopped it early because women had an increased risk of breast cancer, heart attacks, strokes. Okay. So I've got to wind it up. That was my alarm. So you don't want horse estrogen. And then the other thing is you never want to take any of these hormones by mouth. Why? Because they go directly into your liver. We call that first pass effect. And your liver can be damaged by them, and it makes your liver struggle. And your liver is your sanitation department. You got to love your liver. Otherwise, you're building up toxins. So couple of reasons why you don't want estrotest. There is no topical testosterone for women unless you get it at a bioidentical from a compounding pharmacy. So essentially, mainstream medicine says women don't need their estrogen. Like, it's totally ignored. And if they do, we're going to give it to them in a form that's going to cause them health problems. No, I don't think so. So this is one place where you absolutely have got to get a compounded prescription from a compounding pharmacy. But we do all this in the Hormone Balance Mastermind, which we are going to run again this summer. Thank you so much for participating with the one hormone question survey and for coming to the lives and offering your questions. I love hearing them. Tomorrow, I will be traveling to a conference, so I probably won't be able to do the live at 1 p.m. So I'm going to post that on the social pages. I just realized my head is cut off on Facebook. And hopefully at the conference, I will be able to go live because I'm going to continue answering your questions because you guys have amazing questions. I learned so much from them about what women are struggling with. So thank you for those of you who asked the questions about testosterone, and the woman who posted about it, that she couldn't get her doctor to give it to her in the Facebook Stop the Menopause Madness group, because that really spurred this discussion. Because I answered her, I said, "Oh, honey, you need to fight for the testosterone because it's really what makes the lights come on." And she said, "Can you elaborate on that, please?" And I love, Kenya, that you shared that it's the light of my life. It is that song, like, you light up my life. That's testosterone. So what could your life be like? How could you feel? How good could you feel if your testosterone, estrogen, progesterone, insulin, thyroid, all those things were optimized, where you had a full complement of these communicators, these vital communicators in your body? Once you have the communication online, the weight starts coming off, the energy starts coming back, and all these root causes that make your leaves and branches of your health not happy start improving. So see you at midlifemetabolisminstitute.com, midlifemetabolisminstitute.com. To get more information about the Hormone Balance Mastermind and submit your application if you think this would be good for you. Hey, December Chill. Facebook page is Kieran Dunston, MD, KYRIN DUNSTON MD, or you can go in the Stop the Menopause Madness Summit group on Facebook and just request to join, and we will add you. Thank you guys so much for joining me. I hope you have a wonderful, wonderful rest of your day. I will talk to you soon. Bye-bye.